We are standing in the middle of 2026, and the artificial intelligence landscape has settled into something far more complex than the headlines predicted. The initial panic about machines replacing every human worker has subsided, replaced by a nuanced reality of collaboration and friction. To understand where we are, we have to look at the raw capabilities of the current generation of multimodal models. In 2026, AI has effectively mastered the synthesis of existing information, becoming the ultimate retrieval engine for human knowledge. We are seeing language models that no longer just predict the next word, but simulate reasoning chains to check their own work before answering. However, a critical distinction remains between simulating logic and possessing genuine intent or consciousness. One of the most profound shifts this year has been in the realm of high-fidelity video generation and simulation. AI can now generate video clips that are physics-compliant, meaning water flows correctly and shadows behave exactly as light sources dictate. This has decimated the cost of pre-visualization in filmmaking, allowing creators to see their ideas rendered instantly. Yet the technology still struggles with long-form narrative consistency, often forgetting character details as a scene progresses. In the world of coding and software architecture, the role of the junior developer has fundamentally transformed. AI agents can now autonomously write, debug, and deploy small applications without human intervention. But for complex legacy systems, human architects are more valuable than ever to untangle the hallucinations of the machine. We have found that AI is brilliant at syntax, but often mediocre at high-level system design and security architecture. Moving to the physical world, robotics has finally begun to catch up with digital intelligence, though the gap remains wide. The concept known as Moravec's paradox still holds true in 2026. High-level reasoning is computationally easy, but motor skills are hard. Factory environments are seeing success with general-purpose humanoids that can adapt to different assembly lines overnight. But place that same robot in a chaotic home environment with toys on the floor, and it frequently freezes or fails. In healthcare, the diagnostic capabilities of AI have become a standard second opinion for radiologists worldwide. Algorithms can detect patterns in MRI scans that are invisible to the human eye, predicting onset diseases years in advance. However, the AI cannot dictate treatment plans. It lacks the ethical framework and patient context that a human doctor provides. The legal landscape has also been forced to evolve, with copyright laws finally catching up to generative training data. We now have clear watermarking standards, though the black market for uncensored and stolen models is thriving underground. One of the most surprising developments is in the field of personalized education and tutoring systems. Every student can now have a tutor that adapts to their specific learning speed, frustration levels, and interests. Research suggests this has narrowed the gap between different economic classes, provided access to hardware is equal. But let's talk about what AI definitively cannot do in 2026, despite the marketing claims of major tech giants. AI cannot generate truly novel scientific theories that step outside the bounds of its training data. It can optimize existing equations, but it has not had an Einstein moment where it redefines the laws of physics. The hallucination problem has been minimized, but not solved. Models still confidently assert falsehoods as facts. This unreliability makes full autonomy in critical systems like nuclear power or air traffic control impossible without human oversight. Energy consumption has become the limiting factor for AI growth, triggering a massive demand for nuclear and renewable sources. Training a single frontier model in 2026 consumes as much electricity as a small city does in a year. This physical constraint has slowed the exponential curve, forcing engineers to prioritize efficiency over raw size.
Financially, the AI bubble has deflated into a utility market, much like the internet did after the dot-com era. Companies are no longer valued on how many GPUs they own, but how they apply the technology to solve boring, real problems. Creatively, we are seeing a backlash against purely AI-generated content, with a premium placed on human-made art. Audiences have developed a keen eye for the subtle gloss and uncanny smoothness of AI generation, often rejecting it. Music generation has reached radio quality, yet the most popular songs are still driven by human celebrities and their narratives. We connect to the story behind the artist, something a synthetic persona has failed to replicate authentically. In the military sector, autonomous drones are a reality, fundamentally changing the nature of asymmetrical warfare.
These systems can identify and track targets without direct communication, making them immune to traditional jamming. This has sparked a global arms race for AI defense systems, creating a precarious balance of power. On a personal level, the AI companion has become a common remedy for loneliness, though psychologists are divided on the impact. Users report feeling deep emotional bonds with their AI assistants, despite knowing the empathy is simulated. This phenomenon exposes a vulnerability in the human psyche. We are evolutionarily wired to project soul into anything that speaks. Language translation is perhaps the most triumphant success story of 2026, breaking down barriers in real time. You can now have a fluid conversation with anyone on Earth, with the AI capturing tone, idiom, and cultural nuance. This has accelerated global business and scientific cooperation, removing English as the sole gatekeeper of knowledge. However, this also means local dialects and smaller languages are being homogenized by the dominant training datasets. The job market has not collapsed, but it has stratified into those who command AI and those who are managed by it. Middle management has hollowed out, as algorithmic oversight is cheaper and more rigorous than human supervision. Conversely, trade jobs, plumbers, electricians, builders, are seeing a renaissance in value and job security because AI cannot navigate the messy, unpredictable architecture of a 100-year-old house to fix a leak. Deepfakes have forced society to return to a web of trust, relying on cryptographic verification for news. We no longer believe a video just because we see it. We require a chain of custody for digital evidence. This skepticism is healthy, but it has also fractured reality, allowing people to dismiss inconvenient truths as AI fabricated. In the realm of drug discovery, AI has compressed decades of research into months, identifying novel protein structures. Clinical trials are still the bottleneck, but the pipeline of potential cures for rare diseases is fuller than ever. The hype of artificial general intelligence, or AGI, remains just over the horizon, a moving target that recedes as we approach. We have built incredibly sophisticated mimics, mirrors of our own collective intelligence, but not a new sentient species. The biggest lesson of 2026 is that AI is not a replacement for human judgment, but a lever that amplifies it. If you are skilled, it makes you elite. If you are mediocre, it exposes your flaws. If you are lazy, it replaces you. The future isn't about the machine waking up. It's about us waking up to the potential of what we can build with it. As we move forward, the question is no longer what can AI do, but what should we allow it to do? This is the reality of 2026, a world less magical than the prophets promised, but far more functional than the cynics feared. If you want more simple, clear explanations about AI and the future, subscribe and check out the next video.